Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Ash-Phalt, a podcast all about life on the road. And I'm your host, Ash Taylor. And I am very excited to introduce y'all to our guest today. Justin Pettit is actually the co-founder of Santa Carota Beef. And what's really cool is he's also from my neck of the woods in Bakersfield, California. And so I am so excited to bring him on today, talk about his journey, and kind of just introduce you to this awesome person who is literally turning the beef world upside down and doing some incredible things. So, Justin, welcome. How are you?
I'm doing well, Ash. Thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. So, here on the podcast, we talk all about, when you get out of your neck of the woods and you hit the road and you're traveling, you just meet some incredible people. And sometimes that can come full circle. And for me, I was in the Smoky Mountains of East Tennessee. My husband is a pretty popular, carnivore chef. And we were at this carnivore convention, and long and behold, we meet you because we're both from the same hometown of Bakersfield, California. So small world.
Yeah, very small world. But you know what? It's funny. I feel like everywhere you go, you run into someone from Bakersfield or someone that
Yeah.
knows someone from Bakersfield.
Yep. And you know what? I love that though, because I think here in Nashville, when I moved out here, I think my first year here in town, I probably met like 7 people that were all from Bakersfield, but I had never met them when I lived there. I mean, it's crazy. But I absolutely adored meeting you. I literally thought that was just so awesome though. So for people though that maybe don't know who you are, tell us a little bit about just yourself as a person and also about Santa Carota. Tell us what you guys are all about over there.
Okay. So, yes, my dad and I founded Santa Carota Beef. We essentially finish our cattle on carrots. As you know, Bakersfield is the home of the baby carrot.
Hmm.
So even before the invention of the baby carrot, we were um, we were feeding carrots to older cows, or we were backgrounding our stockers, which is from the time they're weaned till they go to the feedlot. And a few years, probably about 10 years ago, there was a drought, and we were trying to make pregnant females, bred heifers, and to time it so when it did rain, ranchers could replenish their herd because they'd sold off so many cows because of drought. And the ones that didn't get pregnant, we were like, all right, well, kind of a loser. We'll take them to the auction. We'll grain them out. And we tried to finish a couple on carrots, and we were like, dang, this is good. Like, this is really good. So luckily, I did marry into produce marketing family. My mother-in-law sells those cotton candy grapes, and we work with the guys at the grapery really well. And we kind of got to borrow some of their marketing people and their ideas, and come up with like a cool name. So Carota, Daucus Carota in Latin is carrot, and in Italian, Carota is carrot. And when we work with the Italian restaurants, they love it, like because Carota, And
Yeah.
we've done some cool like with Italy. We did a few podcasts, and all those Italian guys, man, they love saying Santa Carota. But we didn't know where it was going to take us. We just kind of knew that when God gives you a God-sized dream, I mean, it's
Mm.
you can't fail at it, but it's going to be really hard, and but it's going to be a great adventure. And so we literally bet the farm and went for it, and it's taken us a million miles and a lot of great places. And in fact, the carnivore convention that we met you at,
Mhm.
we met some of the people in Wyoming. Some guy like randomly reached out to me. He's like, "Hey, you want to mail us some steaks? We're gonna do a competition. It's in Wyoming." And so I told my dad, I was like, "Let's go up there and check it out." So we drove. I mean, we just jumped in the pickup and drove to Wyoming from Bakersfield, California. Took my son with us. I mean, look, this thing's about getting on the road, right? It's
Yeah.
the culture of Western lifestyle, just get in a truck and go. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, just got in a truck, blew a hole in the wind, and spent a couple days, met some great people, fell in love with the testimonies of all of the people that it was healing with red meat.
Mm.
And we learned a lot about, some of the different like autoimmune and celiac, and some
Mm.
people with like histamine sensitivity. And so we got to chatting with these folks, and we're like, wow, like when we harvest our cattle, I mean, they don't hang that long because we get to harvest in a bigger processing facility, and it's
Mm.
super clean. It's like a Temple Grandin facility. Um, and so we could have some like non-aged meat, that wasn't hanging. So we started sending some samples out, and a lot of these folks felt really good after they ate it. And so it was so inspiring. My dad went home, like cut his meds and went on this keto kick and got a lot healthier. I lowered our prices online and said, look, we're not just catering to the white tablecloth. We have
Mhm.
something that heals people, and let's like get this thing down to where we can actually serve some folks and help some people out. Because if our meat is medicine, then we need to get it to as many people as possible. So whether it's talking about it here on your show or getting in a truck and driving around and passing steaks out of an ice chest, I mean, we've done it all.
Justin, you are seriously a cool dude, my friend. I think I'm serious. Like I just, you and your whole family, you make me proud to be from Bakersfield because I agree, and I know a lot of people, have talked about this idea and it's very popular of red meat is bad, but honestly, I mean, my own journey. So I actually, when I became an artist, right, and when I started hitting the road and traveling and touring, I started living out of a drive through. I was drinking a lot of alcohol. I'm not taking care of myself. I'm going on no sleep. I'm going, going, going. And, when you're not 25 anymore, that can catch up. And I had, because of that lifestyle and because of not eating real food, I gained in the course of 3 years over 100 pounds. And I
What?
had yeah, I had lost. So I do a keto diet, very meat heavy keto. So I eat red meat every day of my life, few choice veggies, little stuff. But I have lost 110 pounds to date, and in the course of another 3 years. But I had anxiety, I had depression, I had a blood clot in my leg. Chris, my husband, who a lot of people I know also who watch, listen to my music and tune in this podcast, they love him just as much. He's my lead guitar player and band leader. But when we're not doing music, he is on YouTube teaching people how to do recipes, right? And he is carnivore. So my husband really loves you because he's all about the meat, right? And all the, like you said, it's just healing. So he actually has lost 130 plus pounds, and reduced anxiety and depression. So it's interesting though, because a lot of people are like, and I was this way too at first. It's like, wait, you can eat like red meat and it's healing, it's good for you, that won't kill you. So like, what would you say though to people, right, who are like, is red meat really healthy? I mean, what would you say being, a cattle rancher?
Well, I mean, look, this is the American cowboy is the icon of America, right? Like other countries have their own, celebrities and statues, and this is it. And
Mm,
there's been a lot of lives lost and blood, sweat, and tears going into the beef production in America. And I don't think that it's ever going away. And in fact, I think it's coming back stronger than ever. I think there's a level of patriotism that's coming back. I think
mm,
we are diving deep into what is in our foods. And so the processed foods. Do you remember during COVID when like people were raiding the shelves, but the fake meat was still left?
yep.
People know deep down
Hmm.
inside, like we are still survivalist. We know it. We crave it.
Yeah.
Um, and I think there is a big red meat revolution. Just being around some of these carnivore conscious people, the keto
Hmm.
movement. I remember a few years, well, probably a decade ago, when it was like the caveman or the Flintstone diet, and everyone laughed at
Yeah.
it, and some dudes were just loading up on bacon and hot dogs, and but there were some testimonies. They were like, "Oh, I actually lost weight doing this," and then someone really started researching it. I love the Maha side of things too,
Hmm.
because there's a lot of things that red meat isn't, and it's not processed. There's no dyes in it. There's no additives. It's literally a cow converting grass or vegetables or grains into something that's very nutritious for us. So I don't think this
Yeah.
thing's going away at all. I think that we're just getting started here.
Man, I cannot agree with you more. And that's the thing. I can tell you right now, it wasn't the red meat, or the chicken or these other, things that, made me blow up and have all these issues. It was the Twinkies and the McDonald's and the drive-throughs. And so I cannot agree more with you. And something I wanted to ask too. So I find it fascinating when I met you and you were kind of, telling us about what you do, this whole idea of carrot finished. And at first I was like, well, that's kind of different. But then, in my mind, at least where I went, is for me, I love comfort food, clearly, right? And there are certain foods that just speak to certain people. And I have these memories of my Nana. when I was growing up, making me these pot roast suppers, as she would say, with like potatoes and carrots and onions and all this stuff. And I thought, well, that's interesting. Carrot finished beef. But then I was like, does it taste like a pot roast? So explain, like, if you can, the flavor difference between, say, your beef and probably what most people are used to.
Okay. Yes. So, well, one, you get all the vitamins from the carrots into your
Mm,
beef. So, I mean, we're like our ground beef we had tested, and 4 ounces of ground beef is 80% of your daily B12.
mm,
So, in Vegas, we get to go sell it as a hangover burger, for all the B vitamins. Yeah, but so you get all of the goodies from the carrot. So we have moms that are like, I'll feed my kids ground beef, spaghetti sauce with this, or sloppy joes, because they were not eating carrots, so they're eating this.
yeah.
But on the eating experience, if it was a wine, I would say conventional grain-fed beef would be like a cab or a merlot, and we're going to be more like a
Mm,
pinot or nebbiolo. It's a lot lighter, and the reason for
mm,
that is carrots are 90% water. So if a cow's going to eat 10 pounds of grain in a day, it's got to eat 100 pounds of carrots to get the same 10 pounds of dry matter. The other 90% is water or carrot smoothie. People are like they're juicing. So that goes into the muscle tissue and it inflates it and it fills it up like a water balloon. So not only does it stretch and stretch the muscle tissue, so like the elasticity of it, you can peel this stuff apart when it's raw, and so you're not fighting it when you chew. Like some meats are
mm.
really tough. Like ours is very tender. And then you also get this pop in your mouth like a very delicious um, kind of eating experience. So you're not fighting it. It falls in love with you. And then because of all the great vitamins in it, you don't feel like you need to lay on the couch and take a nap afterwards. You feel really good. And, it's all good things. The eating experience is amazing, plus the vitamins, which has actually been tough for us because targeting customers, we've done so well in the white tablecloth, but we're also healthy. When you tell somebody something's healthy, they automatically assume it's going to taste like shoe leather, but really it's true. We get the
Yeah.
great eating experience and we get all the health benefits at the same time.
Wow. That sounds absolutely delicious. And I seriously cannot wait to try some of your beef. We are definitely going to be placing an order. And I will probably ask this multiple times during this podcast, but you guys actually sell your beef online. So can you tell us like where you ship to? Tell us kind of like what that process is like, because I want people to go and check out your website and I want them to go get some beef because, like you said, meat heals. And this is awesome what you're doing. And we would love to support you.
Okay, wonderful. You can buy our beef on our website at santacarota.com. It's SANTACAROTA.com. You'll see a button that says order here. And so you can order online. We ship out of Texas, so we can actually hit 48 states kind of from the middle. We've tried to ship from California to New York before, and you end up with a 5-day run. The meat melts, a bad Yelp review. It's the whole thing. So
Mm,
when you ship from the middle of the country, and cool story of how we found this Texas guys. My brother lives in Katy, Texas, just outside of Houston, and him and his wife they both had a work conference, and so I flew my family back and stayed at their house and watched my nieces for uh, for like a week and a half. And after a few days, I was like going stir crazy, and I was looking for someone to help ship our meat online, and I'd reached out to this company called Frozen Logistics, and
mm,
within minutes they got back to me, and they said, well, if you could be here in Austin by noon,
mm.
um, then the owner said he'd meet with you. It's like 8 in the morning, 2.5 hour drive through my boys and my brother's truck, and just drove. And lo and behold, they're building a cold storage in the middle of a friggin' cornfield. Like, if you build it, they will come. And I swear, and it's literally they are designing a frozen online farmers market where it's all automated pick and pack. They have their own dry ice pellet machines, and
Wow.
and they don't even have a customer yet. And so I'm
Oh,
like,
wow.
I'm your first customer. This is awesome. They're great people. Their company's called Delivered Cold, and
Okay.
so they kind of built this platform, and our website can link you to theirs. And so you can, if you only want a steak or two, but you want some pasture chicken or pizza
Yeah.
crust from Italy or whatever, you can kind of fill a box instead of having to spend $200 on just steak. Or we encourage you to buy all Santa Carota too. But yeah, and so about a year later, they were able to launch, and away we went. And they've come out to the ranch a couple times, and we've just become really good friends. And I mean, um, that was something that God put in our life. It's one of those things
Mhm.
like when you know you're on the right path and the right mission. And so we just kind of were led by the Lord, and Amazon came to them probably in the last 6 months and was looking for someone to help with a frozen food space. And so now you can buy our ground beef on Amazon. You can literally type in Santa Carota beef on Amazon and click it. I was actually out of ground beef the other day, and we were at a Willie Nelson concert on couple days ago, right? Like
Yeah.
we're still Cowboys, and and he's 92. You got to see Willie every time you can because you never know, and it's going to be the last.
You don't know.
Yeah. So a couple days ago, we were at Willie, and I was we were talking about a book for hyperbaric oxygen chamber because I have a daughter with
Mm.
cerebral palsy, and I was telling some friends about it. So I pulled it up on Amazon, and it had like, "Oh, do you need more ground beef?" I'm like, "Actually, I do." So, you know, Tuesday morning, it's at the front door, and here we go.
Wow, that is absolutely amazing. And I have to say, I feel like we just have so much in common. I'm also a big Willie Nelson fan. I like ground beef. This is awesome. I wanted to talk about though, because I mean, the fact that you can have this website and you're just shipping, basically all over the country. You're on Amazon. This is so cool. Like this business that you have created, and being from Bakersfield. I always kind of thought that it was kind of a small town, and I'm really inspired by your story and what it is you're doing because like I said, you're making me proud to be from Bakersfield because you're taking something and you're just blowing it up. And you're doing something really cool and really unique and really different. And I love that. And I love to be able to support local farmers, local ranchers, just support local, right? So I think this is really cool. I want to talk about too and kind of brag on you for a second because when we were, setting up this interview, I was also researching that you guys have actually been featured in like the New York Times, and you have all of these insanely incredible celebrity chefs like Gordon Ramsay and Wolfgang Puck using your beef. That has to, I would assume, give you a big sense of pride, right, in what you're creating. And so I'd love if you could kind of share maybe how that feels from your end to be hustling and be behind the scenes and doing all this and to just see the success you guys are having and how you're really just kind of changing the beef space. I mean, this is incredible.
Thank you. We're actually very humbled because who
Mhm.
knew that a couple, you know, um, ex-firemen, cattle ranchers just trying to feed a few cows would end up servicing the Pittsburgh Steelers and being at Hell's Kitchen, and it's just led to some amazing adventures.
Mhm.
And we're humbled just to be part of it. That um, even though it's probably the hardest thing we've ever done, whatever when you chase a God-sized dream, whatever however the level of difficulty you think it is, it's going to be 1,000 times harder. And this, you packed it up and moved it, and
Yeah.
you're out there beating the street.
Yeah.
um, and so it's especially in the beef business, the beef business side, it's so efficient that it's like trying to I always say it's like trying to when you're a small producer trying to merge onto an 80-mile-an-hour freeway on your bicycle because the
Mm.
big guys can run you over so fast, and they have such big contacts and contracts. And when you're just start selling out of the back of your truck one steak at a time, it's really hard to get there. And you got to sample for us. You know how many people say, "Oh, I'll buy it, but I want to try it first."
Yeah. Yeah.
We said you got to give away a lot of meat. There's a lot of samples. But then when you have, you land a big deal, like the win or something, you're like, wow, that was worth it. It's
Yeah.
all the juice is worth the squeeze in the end. You just got to keep going with it. And, for any other small producer out there that might hear is it's hard. And there's a lot of people that didn't make it along the way. But I mean, if you only fail when you quit. So,
Yeah.
believe it or not, on the other side of things, there is an entire community of people that want our products and want our innovation, and they want quality and they want nutrition, and it's worth it for them to go direct and know where their food comes from, and not eat a hamburger that came from 3 different countries and has 1,000 different animals in it. It's a thing. I feel like I could taste it too. Like there's some burger I'm like, dude, this is either like half US and half Australia, and they blended some like cheap fat and
Yeah.
made it, or this is some old cow and I don't know, meat feels boiled. And then when I have like our beef, which I'm very proud of our ground beef, but even some guys that do their own like grain finished,
Mhm.
and it's a single source, I could taste the difference. I know the difference.
Yeah.
My kids can. So my daughter, who's 6, we were at a burger the other day of ours, and I went to the store and got some, and she literally was like, "Nope, I know this isn't Santa Crota, Dad." Like, okay, I gotcha, I gotcha. I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
Like you have expensive taste, but at least you have a good palate, and you're not going to want fast food the rest of your life.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, I think that's one thing that I've just recently like kind of really been diving into is, my whole life I don't even really think about what goes into it or really what it is. I just go to the grocery store right down the street and I buy a tub of ground beef or I grab milk or cheese or all these things. And then now that we've started to, buy from local farmers and local ranchers, and we actually in our house just got a bunch of raw dairy, and so it's like I'm literally going to my friend down the road and I'm having raw milk and all these different things, and I go, this is nothing like what my whole life I thought it was. And so it's very eye opening, I think. So I think that's awesome that your daughter is like, this is not it. Like, I'm like, you're raising that girl right, man. That's awesome. So you clearly, like we're talking about, you're doing so many great things and really branching out. And I know that you go all over the place, it sounds like, getting to travel on the road to kind of get this message out there, right? And to kind of put yourself in places. And so I would love for you to share, since we're a podcast all about life on the road, what does that hustle look like behind the scenes? And what are some places that you've got to travel to kind of go and grow your business?
Okay. Thank you. So being in Bakersfield, as you know, you could be in Los Angeles in 2 hours. So we love meeting with like some of our Beverly Hills chefs and our LA chefs to even down like Santa Monica. I mean, if you're growing your own tomatoes on your rooftop because you're a very like organic kind of restaurant, they serve Santa Crota, and so we love that. And then we're also 4 hours from Vegas. I don't know if you've driven Bakersfield lately, but it bypasses Kramer Junction on a four
Mm-hmm.
lane.
Yeah.
Like you could do it in 3.5, it's a thing. So you're so close to Vegas. That's been great, man. We could run out there and meet with our chefs. The Win was really fun. The Win even came out to our ranch and did like a
Mhm.
3-day photo shoot. The chefs were amazing. So we were in the Win magazine, and we have like 10 pages in this thing. This was before COVID, and they brought like a film crew and did like pictures, and we cooked. We took this old Santa Maria trailer and cut the axles off, and then put like some cool rock around it and put it in the ground. And we're like, here, you're in the middle of a cow pasture, cook some meat. And these chefs did so good. They went to town on it. Um, and so one of the gals running it was she was in Chicago, and she's like, hey, by the way, like no beers can be shown because we're not. I'm like, dude, these are cowboys cooking. Like they're kind of having 3 days off. And she's like, you got to put everything in a red cup. Like if Coors Light sees it and they're not, we're not endorsing anyone, so we can't be part of any of this brand endorsement. So I thought about it, and I called one of my buddies, is part owners in Bakersfield local brewery, Timbler, if you've ever been there.
Yeah, yeah,
And,
yeah. Uh-huh.
okay, so I called Timbler, and they're like, "Oh, dude, we got you. Like, we don't mind." So they donated a couple cases of beer, and like one of the wives goes and picks it up and like throws it in the back seat of her car and drives to the ranch. These chefs drank IPAs for like 3 days, and at the end of the last night, like it's midnight and we're passing the guitar around the fire and they all play, which is so fun, right? Like we're
Right.
all just like four chords in the truth here. And carrot trucks are still like driving in and unloading in the middle of the night. It was a really good time. Um,
Cool.
but the Wyoming trip was great. That was a get in the truck and go thing.
Yeah.
We fed cattle in there's some carrots up in like Oregon, Washington, right on the Oregon
Mm.
Washington border. So we actually fed cattle up there, and that was interesting. And so just to try it, like hey, if we grow, we got to go out there and see it, get our nose bloody, and meet some folks. And so we did. And I take my kids with me everywhere I can. My
Mm.
youngest son, he is like sleep in the dirt, rootin' tootin' cowboy, tough. Like he loves it. Doesn't love the sales as much, you know. So like he'll go ship cattle and like go run all over the country doing that. And my oldest son, he loves like the Michelin restaurants, you know, the fancy silver belly hats, the sport coats, you know. He likes
Yeah.
that side of it, and I need them both, you know. And so, yeah, my youngest son, he did the Oregon Washington trip with us. My oldest, he did like a week tour with me in San Diego one time, and we just went around to all of our restaurants and some new ones and sold meat, told about our product, and I would even have him like in the hotel lobby, like, "Hey, go pitch that guy," you know. And that some of these like traveling sales reps love to see a 10-year-old learn how to sell something. Um, but like you were saying, the best thing we can do is not be salesmen and just tell our story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like let's let people know that we're authentic and fall in love with us. You know, you definitely have a relationship with people in your band. You're not just like borrowing one and going and it's not all about you. Like this is a thing and this is authentic and we're gonna keep telling our story. And I hope that's what drives people to us and helps them fall in love with us. I mean,
Yeah.
in 2 days I'm gonna haul a 20-foot horse trailer from Texas to California and load up like 4 of my freezers and put generators in them and haul a bunch of meat back because I've been doing some events out here in Texas. So um and I don't know that we mentioned that. So yes, I'm from Bakersfield. I have a daughter, a 6-year-old daughter with cerebral palsy, and we've traveled everywhere to get her the great physical therapy that she can, and she's doing really good. Really good. That venture started before COVID. COVID shut down the therapy center that she was going to,
Mm.
and so my wife was like beside herself, and we ended up um, getting a house for one of the physical therapists from this center and
Mm.
moving her into our neighborhood. So all summer of 2020, we got hands-on treatment, and then when she went back, she didn't like it. She quit, and so I sold. Do you remember Alta Sierra, like up by Lake Isabella?
I do.
Shirley
Yes.
Meadows.
Yes.
Shirley
Yep.
Meadows. Okay, so I had
Mhm.
a cabin up there, and my goal was
Okay.
to like pay it off, and then that was going to be my kids' college fund. I could borrow from it if I needed to, but I have this property, and I sold it, and I took the money that whatever I had in it, and we used it to start a pediatric therapy center for kids with special needs in Bakersfield.
Oh,
And Ash, the first year we were open, 10 kids that never talked, 10 kids that never walked, like miracles. We just did a fundraiser at Luigi's a couple months ago, and there was a kid that came up, and he got on stage, and he took his first independent steps 2 days prior to the event from, sorry, yeah, from our
dude, I want a
center.
ball. Oh, wow. Wow.
It's not
Oh,
over yet. Not over yet. So my wife was working the front desk, right?
yeah.
Hated collecting money from these special needs moms. Hardest thing in the world.
Mm.
So I have a friend of mine, his uncle was like, "Look, I love what you're doing. Can I donate to your nonprofit?" I said, "We opened a doctor's office. We can't own it. We're not doctors." And he goes, "Well,
Mm.
if you had a nonprofit, I would donate to it." Okay, so we essentially started a 501(c)(3 and he seeded it and we started putting on some fundraisers, and lo and behold, Ash, we now raise money and sponsor like 20 kids a year, which it costs about 10 grand a kid, and we send them kids from all over the country, even the world,
Mm-hmm.
and we send them to independent therapy centers like the ones we found for my daughter. So I've been with a family all week from Florida, and their little daughter Piper's doing great, and she's in her first camp that we sponsored, and it's so cool to watch and see. Like this is where God's taken us. I was living in California a year ago, and we prayed about like what are we going to do to get my daughter more independent, walking, give her the best life. She's really smart, but her legs don't work like ours.
Right.
And we prayed about it, went home, and for sale sign in the yard, 10 days our house was in short escrow, packed it up, and ended up in a house in Texas that I had never seen before. And here we are, and I've met some amazing people, and yeah, this is where it's taken us. And if I got to drive halfway across the country to make things happen, I have a meeting in LA on the 21st, and I'm just gonna drive it. Like this is
Yeah.
we can haul things back and forth. The the interstate is too good to us not to appreciate it.
Yeah. Man, I don't, I may ball on this. I mean, what an inspiring thing you guys are doing. So this nonprofit then that you started, is there a way that people maybe who are listening to this could go online and check it out and also maybe donate to it? Do you guys have the option to do that?
Absolutely. So it's called Walking with Cora. Um, Cora is my daughter. Let me
Okay.
see the actual foundation website is www.walkingwithcorafoundation.com.
Okay.
Cora Cora.
Cool. I'm going to put that down in the show notes for anyone that's listening, whether it's on YouTube, Apple Podcast, Spotify, whatever platform. I will be sure to include that along with your website for your beef and those products. But I will be putting that. And you guys, that is amazing. I mean, you're changing lives in
That's the
more ways
idea.
than one. Yes, but like, and I so love what you were talking about too, about we're not trying to sell anybody anything. We're all just sitting here telling our story, and you just take what life throws at you, and you just keep going, and you just trust that God will lead you. And I love too that you've shared a lot, about your faith and just this wild journey that God has taken you on, and just all the doors that He's opening, and the places that He's putting you. Would you share about just your faith and kind of what that means to you, and how that kind of is taking place in your life, right? As you're navigating all of these things and helping so many people, what does your faith mean to you?
Everything. Um, I think that we should all ask God what our purpose here is for.
Mm,
And if we're not following that and asking that question, then what are we really doing here? What are we here like 80 years? Like God,
yeah.
what's your plan for me? Otherwise, I'm just gonna chase my tail. I will tell you, I made a point to talk about it today because yesterday I was at my daughter's physical therapy, and the family that thanked us, um, I was just, we're humble about it. I just look, this is all part of our journey, right? My journey, your
Mm,
journey, and that's how I left it. And I thought about it later. I was like, man, I totally blew an opportunity to give God the glory. Like,
mm,
bummer. But I got a new day today, and I gotta miss Ash right here on the line, and
yeah.
so I'm making up for it. And I prayed about it a lot last night and this morning. And so, yes, I think that anything we do, which should be to the glory of God. I didn't pick this carrot finished beef. I could have been born into an insurance sales family. This is like what it is. My grandfather was a fireman, and he was a Dust Bowl Okie, and which,
Yeah.
what's crazy? And I'll
Huh.
get back on the faith thing in a second.
Sure,
My
go
dad
ahead.
said my dad said Okie the other day when we were in Tennessee, and I was like, hey, um, it doesn't mean the same. It just means
Yeah,
someone from Oklahoma, where we're standing. You
yeah,
have to be in Kern County for Okie to mean something
yeah,
completely different. So it's
yes.
like, oh, so whoever you just said Okie to has no concept of what the
What
context of
that
this thing
means,
is.
yeah.
Yes, they've never been to Oildale, so it's
Yeah.
a different deal.
Your dad is adorable. It's like, that's not what you think it means.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Uh, but he's been right there with us. He's a believer. I'm a believer.
Mm,
My grandfather, he came out at the end of the Dust Bowl, and he lived in
mm,
a tent till he was 12, and his family couldn't feed him, so he had to leave the tent. He was adopted by this old cowboy that took him in, and they turned an old horse ranch up in the mountains to a cattle ranch, and uh, my grandfather was a fireman. My dad was a fireman because we didn't really
wow.
have a big ranch, so we had to have an extra income to subsidize it. I chased the forest fire. So did my brother, and then the wintertime we could help on the ranch, so we got to punch cows and brand calves, and, and then not have to take money from the ranch. And so that's always been kind of our thing, is to give to it, to someday that, maybe the next generation can enjoy it. But we've just enjoyed the journey of it every step of the way. I mean, there's hard times. We're probably broke more than not. And I think that's just part of it. That's part of being a startup. That's part of chasing your dream. But this is
Yeah.
the God sized dream that God gave us. And I write on all my whiteboards in the top corner, I write undefeated God, because
Mm,
I serve an undefeated God. And no matter what, as long as we're on the same team and we're chasing the same goals and the same dream, I suck, I screw up, I'm a sinner, and there's repentance for that. But I can't lose. And that's how we look at
mm.
things. We can't lose as long as we keep serving this undefeated God.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And that's just so powerful and so encouraging to think that way. And yeah, and I think this is why like I said, I was really excited to have you on, though, to talk and share your story. Just the more that you're sharing, just the more I really think you embody truthfully why this podcast was started and what it's for. Me being a musician, we bring people on who are touring artists and we talk about life on the road that way. But you're talking about these God-sized dreams and just going out. And I mean, it's very inspiring. And thank you just for sharing about your faith and your family. I mean, this is just really incredible. I'd love too to ask. You're talking about being a rancher and kind of growing up in this this atmosphere and sleeping in the dirt and just all this hard work. What is a day on the ranch like? I mean, what is that lifestyle truly like? What time do you get up? What do you eat? How many hours do you work in a day? Can you kind of share a little bit about what that is really like for those that are like, what happens, right? What is that really like?
Every day's different.
Okay.
The second you have a big project, you plan something, there's a broken water line, and then you have to go fix a water line, or there's a hole in the fence, or there's cows out, and then it's a constant maintenance. Cows, my granddad used to say, what they don't screw up, they shit on, So there's it's just a dumb animal, and not to sound all John Wayne about it, and we're constantly just having to take care of them. As water situations can be very crucial, especially in the summers. It doesn't rain in
Mm,
Bakersfield. It quits raining at Easter, and it doesn't start again until Thanksgiving. So you have to you're always constantly checking waters. And then for us, we've got to manage like the carrots and what field they go to,
mm,
because they can't all. If I have cattle in like 6 different pastures, we can't just dump every load of carrots in one pasture. So that has to be spread out. If the carrots are long, we've got to plan for that. If the carrots are short, we've got to plan for that.
mm,
We feed we feed this sedan grass that's grown um, so the carrots, when they make a baby carrot, we get the tips, tops, pieces, the ugly carrots. We're
mm,
essentially giant vegetable recyclers. So if we take 20 loads of carrots a day, that's 1 million pounds of carrot of food waste that
mm,
we're upcycling into this nutritious white tablecloth product. Also, we have the grass hay that we feed alongside of it is grown with the recycled rinse water from the carrot plant. So what we've done is we've taken this model that you could just stamp over $1 billion ad company and say, look, we can still do it the old ways, that when grandpa fed pigs the slop on 40 acres. It's still doable. We can still tackle a lot of the food waste and water waste issues. And that's our contribution to, I guess, regenerative or sustainability.
yeah.
um, but to circle back, I mean, there's days if we're gonna harvest a load of cattle, you got to ship them at night. If we buy a load of cattle, they could come in at 2 in the morning, and you're unloading cattle. In the wintertime, we're dumping whole loads of carrots out in the middle of the foothills. You will be hooked to a tractor and shoveling and pulling carrot trucks out of the mud. I used to ditch high school just to go pull carrot trucks out of the mud. I'd check in
Wow.
my auto shop class, and it was 3 hours, so I would check in, and it was off Mount Vernon, and the ranch is like off of 58, so it's only 15 minutes. I'd drive out, and I would pull carrot trucks out of the mud, and then I'd go check back in, and that was kind of our mornings. I'd ship cattle. Some days I'm taking my kids out of school when we need help to gather a lot of cattle. Or we have this ranch out by the Grapevine,
Mhm.
and it is a rattlesnake infested son of a gun. And so when you load cattle and like the ground is shaking, they come out. I mean, you can kill 12 rattlesnakes in a day just walking around the corrals. It's
Believe it.
wild. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So but we don't have a lot of equipment out there. We just have the C train with some
Mhm.
parts and stuff. So we're always hauling back and forth from headquarters. So when we have a 2, 3, 4 day project out there, we just camp out. And so we bring the big cowboy bedrolls and all the fun stuff, but we'll put them on the flatbeds. We put them in the pickups. I've even have one of my cowboys has got a pallet and put it on the forks of a skid steer and lifted it off the ground because he was worried about the snakes getting in his bedroll. Like, it's a snake infested son of a gun. You just hope there's not one sleeping with you when you wake up.
Right. That's understandable. That's amazing. And I think hopefully for folks that maybe don't understand like what it's like to live on a ranch and what it's like to do what you do, to me that just brings so much appreciation for folks like yourself and the hard work that you put in to essentially feed us all, and especially great quality products like what you produce and all. I just think that's so cool. So thank you for sharing. Man, I have had just the best time getting to talk with you. You are seriously so cool, so awesome. I already liked you because you're from Bakersfield, but thank you just for being such a great guy. Thank you for your beef and just the products that you put out. Thank you for changing children's lives and just for being such an inspiration on so many levels. Thanks for being a real true cowboy. And just your faith is inspiring. Your love for this country is inspiring. And I am just so happy that we are friends. So seriously, thank you, Justin. I know you're busy for taking the time to be here with us today.
Hey, thank you. And like I said, I still give God all the glory. This is the mission, this is the path, and as long as we're breathing, we're gonna keep going. Before you go,
Yeah.
best concert you've ever seen.
The best concert. I'm going to say Loretta Lynn at the
Oh,
Ryman Auditorium on her 85th birthday. Uh, so I love Loretta Lynn, right? So my nana is actually the one who got me into country music. She spent almost every Saturday night at the Crystal Palace back home in Bakersfield,
uh-huh.
and she loved Buck Owens and she loved traditional country, but Loretta Lynn was her favorite. And I Coal Miner's Daughter was the first song I ever heard because of my nana. So I got to see her here in Nashville at the Ryman, and it was a concert unlike any other because she clearly was in her mid 80s. It's her birthday, and she walked out on stage and one of her big beautiful ball gowns, and she sat down in the center, and her mind clearly was not the young Loretta that it once was. And so she would start a song, and something like "You Ain't Woman Enough," and she'd stop about halfway through and just stop, and she would just start telling you a story about when she was growing up, about her kids, and no one cared. I mean, every the audience hung on every story she told and every word. And then, some guy would come, from the back of the band, and he'd be like, "Miss Loretta, we got to sing." And she goes, "I don't want to right now." And I was like, "This woman's awesome." But it was she did a couple gospel songs, and but she kept just stopping the music. She'd sing a verse and chorus, and she would just she would share her heart. And it's much like what you're saying is like, we don't really need to like market to people or whatever, but we just need to be real, and we just need to be authentic. And every single person has a story to tell. And watching Loretta Lynn, my idol, sit there, and I didn't even care that she didn't play all of her hits or anything. I heard her heart and I heard her stories, and I get emotional just talking about it because it's like, wow, like, in now, especially that she's not gone. But I think that is the best concert I have ever been to in my entire life. You could bring out all the smoke shows, the big stadium shows. I've been to them all, but nothing tops sitting in a Ryman auditorium listening to Loretta Lynn tell you a story for an hour and a half. Nothing beats it. So
I love that. I
yeah,
love that.
yeah.
We took my father-in-law, my wife's dad. He had cancer, and he's already passed on not long ago. Um, but when he was going through treatment, bald head and everything, he hit me up. He's like, "Hey, you know, this probably isn't doable, but Willie Nelson's 90th birthday is at the Hollywood Bowl. And I
Oh,
know tickets are super expensive. But he didn't know I was already watching this thing like a hawk, and they dropped for a second, and I bought I bought tickets, but they were in the nosebleeds, right? So I'm like, all right, we'll figure it out. So I surprised him, and my wife and I and two of our friends took him. We were friends with the principal at the kid's school, and we kind of borrowed a wheelchair from the school for the weekend.
okay. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so we got a stolen wheelchair, an old man with cancer, and Willie Nelson tickets.
That sounds like one
And
hell of a Saturday night, man.
oh man, so it's a 2-day event at the Hollywood Bowl, but you got to walk uphill, and so like, man, I'm like pounding Modelo's and sweating it out and like pushing him uphill in this wheelchair. The best concert, like he's just, and so we get in, and there's like the handicap seating, so we just
Yeah,
go right in there instead of going to the nosebleeds where I'd bought tickets for. We all just go there. Well, by night two, the security guards had figured out like this isn't our seat, but my wife, being mama bear that she is, and knowing all the handicap laws, hit every security guard with the ADA booklet about transporting medically disabled people and wheelchair laws. Oh, I mean, I don't even know if she knows she was talking about, but she hammered him with it, right? And so we saw Willie, saw a lot of great people. George Strait and Willie Nelson played for the first time ever that concert.
Mm,
I'm a big Chris Christopherson fan. Like
yeah.
Pat
Yeah.
Garrett and Billy the Kid was probably my favorite movie of all time. If anybody's never seen it, Bob Dylan is in the movie, and so
So
yeah,
fun.
that was his last performance. Shooter Jennings, Roseanne Cash, and Lucas played with Chris
Oh,
Christopherson. Yeah, as like and did the Highwaymen with the kids. Oh, I got the chills just now. So good, right? So
I
good.
just got the chills. Are you kidding me? That's a lineup, man.
That's the
Wow.
lineup. Yeah, 2 days of it. So that was probably my best one, and mainly because of the it was so memorable. That was like my wife's like last awesome moment with her dad, and we got to give that to him, and
Mm.
it was a blast for all of us.
And that's just a memory that will just live on. And I'm so glad you guys were able to do that. That is so incredible. Now, is your wife also from Bakersfield?
Yes.
Yeah.
So my wife's from Bakersfield. She was born in Visalia, moved when she was 4. She went to school. She went to Stockdale. I went to Liberty, and we hung out with the same people and did not know each other. And like
Wow.
we're at the same parties, ran around with the same crowd. I met my wife in Vegas at Gillies. If that's not a country song.
I'm just gonna say, wow, man, your life really is a country song, ain't it?
Oh, it's a total country song. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Going for broke on a cattle business, and yeah, met at Gillies, and we're. I was
Oh,
looking for love in all the wrong places. So
clearly, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, wow. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, she sounds like an amazing, amazing lady.
she's a
We
hoot. Yeah.
Oh, dude, she sounds like it. You're talking about her just telling the security guards the what for or whatever. I have one of my really good friends here in Nashville is also actually from Bakersfield, but we met out here, and her name's Allie, and we've had these conversations before where we were talking about Bakersfield women and how we are very blunt and we know what we want and we just get stuff done all the time. And so you're talking about your wife, and I'm like, yep, yep. I'm like, I bet she's from Bakersfield because she seems way too cool not to be. So what a
I
lady.
I think there's just a level of toughness that you have to endure because the
Yeah.
generation before us was just that, it's the Dust Bowl Okies, or they came across in the covered wagon, the ones that saw the thing through and made it all the way to the West Coast,
Yep.
or came out with nothing. Those people are still there, and that's the generations and the bloodlines and the cultures that raised us.
And I think
We
you
could,
nailed it.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because that's the thing. It's like if you look at the history of Bakersfield, like you said, a bunch of Okies and the Dust Bowl and stuff. It's like we come from a people who literally had nothing, and they have made incredible paths and different things. And that's the thing too. It's like I am incredibly proud to be from Bakersfield, and there's so much more. Like in my case, it's probably the music, right? It's like. Hello, Buck Owens and Merle Haggard, and I was just back in April. Actually, I played the Haggard Boxcar Festival there in Bakersfield. They had William Michael Morgan was the headliner and all of that. And so I'm hanging out with all of these people, the people that are the strangers, Merle Haggard's band, and we're sitting here at his childhood home, and there's all this great musicianship, and it's like this is where I come from. And every person that we met there not only was super, super kind, super professional, all of this stuff, but they were very much the same way, where it's like they were honest. They make shit happen. Okay. It's like there's no misunderstandings. It's like they're just good, hard working, genuine people. And I think that when you're from that same part of the country, which is why when I found out, when I met you and you're from Bakersfield, and then like I'm sitting here talking to you, I'm like, this guy could be my best friend, right? Because it's like, but it's true because like that's just in our heritage and it's in our blood. And so now that like I'm in Nashville though, it's like I don't fit in a lot sometimes with the music industry because I'm more like a Buck Owens, right? Who did not live in Nashville. He stayed in Bakersfield and was like, I just kind of do my own thing. And that's what you're doing. That's what I'm doing. And I think that is inspiring though. I think that is just so cool to think outside the box and to be proud of who you are and your roots and just to be yourself. And to be real and to be authentic and not to fit in with a mold. And if you're from Bakersfield, you probably do that really damn well. And so I think that's why I just love being from there.
Oh yes, I do too.
Yeah.
It's a culture where someone's You could people from Bakersfield, especially the old, generational ones, they'll fight you or they'll pray with you just as fast.
Oh
You
yeah.
know,
Oh yeah.
just as fast, and you're
Yep.
always welcome over for dinner wearing flip flops. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's so true. Do you know a singer by the name of Kim Maccabee? She was in Buck Owens' band. She is the one and only female Buckarette. So Buck Owens and the Buckaroos, but she is the one and only female. She is actually the one that put together that festival. And in my house growing up, that woman was a hero because it's like, whoa, the one and only female Buckarette. So I actually here in my studio, where I'm sitting, we're doing this podcast. Over behind me, there's a closet in my studio, and in it, I have a bunch of old cassette tapes that were, my grandparents. I have like 5 or 6 signed Kim Maccabee cassette tapes for my grandparents going to shows and seeing her. But so I got to meet her at this festival, and she literally, like you said, nicest lady in the world. She's like treated me like I was like her own blood, right? Did not take any lip or bullshit from anybody, and totally was like, "Come over next time for dinner." And I'm like, "What a lady!"
yeah,
She's incredible. But you're right. It's like that's, and honestly, it's just inspiring. And to hear her talk about too, like her time with Buck Owens and this idea of being real and authentic, but also like working so hard and really showing up places and being a professional she was talking about how that was just ingrained with Buck Owens, right? And it's like, that's something to be proud of, in today's world where I feel like a lot of people just kind of make excuses or they don't really want to go chase these God-sized dreams, right? As you said, it's like, no, not in Bakersfield. We just go all in, man. We just go 100%, and we just know that Jesus and our roots basically are just going to catch us and lift us on up, right?
absolutely. Oh yeah, I love being around tough old women like that. Man,
I
it
do
just
too.
reminds it reminds me of my grandma and those
Yeah.
generations. Those women, you could go to a branding and they would rope calves with the
Yeah.
men and then unsaddle their horse and then go serve food that they cooked the night before up till midnight doing and
Yeah.
never complain, and they were tough and just inspiring. It's just a level of toughness, and there's nothing that can't be done. Inspiring.
Oh, you're so right. They are loving and nurturing and will give you the shirt off their back, but they'll also kick your ass if they need to. I mean,
Oh
it's
yeah.
yeah, yeah. We when we were home last, and my husband, was kind of getting to experience Bakersfield and meet my family and all this stuff. You were talking about these tough old ladies, and I was like, oh, I just love this and I love that. And my husband, was talking about how great they are, and he goes, if you give it another 30 to 50 years, that's going to be you. And I'm like, you're not wrong. And I take that as the biggest compliment, man. So
That is a compliment.
it
Yeah.
is. It is. No, it's a good thing. But no, I'm so glad that, like I said, we could connect and just, dude, I've just enjoyed this so much, and I'm sure our listeners have too. So you guys, please go check out Santa Carota Beef. I'm gonna put all of the links to your website and to your nonprofit, to your beef, all of this information down below. I'll put your socials. So, guys, please go check Justin out. And Justin, is there anything that you'd like to say before we head on down the road?
No, I enjoyed our time. You could kind of look and see what we do on our social media. Our Instagram's at Santa Carota Beef, and then the Walking with Cora Foundation. That's at Walking with _Cora. You can see a lot of these kids and their journeys and all the progress they make and all the hope that we give the parents. So if you want to follow those, you could just see our story and it unfold into our daily lives.
I love that, man. Well, I'm so glad again. I mean, I already follow you on all that, and it is encouraging, just super encouraging and motivating to see all the amazing things that you're doing in so many different ways. And thank you just so much again for being here. This has been a true honor. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. Well, guys, I hope you have enjoyed this episode as much as I have. Feel free to like, share, comment, subscribe. Give us a follow. Feel free to comment down below. Tell us what was your favorite part of the podcast and what you enjoyed hearing us share and talk about. And be sure to go over and follow Justin. But thank you guys so much all for being here. We will see you guys further on down the road the next time. God bless, and we will see you later.